Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show. I'd like to introduce Jean-Pierre Perreault to the show. Jean-Pierre is an author, teacher, and speaker at the Human Body Academy. He wrote the book, Pain is a Language. He says we go to school to get our degrees, but we never learn anything about the most important topic in the world, ourselves. Jean-Pierre believes that each individual should be instructed on how to maintain pain-free and that premature aging can be prevented. I want to know about that. I've got to start with your book, Jean-Pierre. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Steve, for inviting me to your Top Gun show. I appreciate very much your invitation.
I'm really glad you're on it. Let's start with your book. What's the core message of your book, that pain is a language?
Very, very simple. The problem with pain, we think pain is the enemy. And the title of my book, Pain is a Language, just shows that hey, pain is not the enemy. Pain is rather a simple message, a mean of communication from our body to ourselves to let us know we need to do something for what is going on. Just like thirst, if I'm thirsty, how do I know that I'm thirsty? I feel it in my body. That's a physiological message that my body send me for me to know what to do about it. And if I'm hungry, that's different signal. If I'm tired, that's a different signal. If I'm horny, it's different signal. All of those physical and logical signals I get, it's the dashboard of my human vehicle. It's just the light turning on that let me know I must do something to respond to a specific need. That's that simple. And if people doubt about the thirst analogy, I say, okay, what if you don't respond to thirst in the next hour or 2 hours? The sensation will get higher pitch. And after a day or two of not drinking, not hydrating, because that's the main thing that my body tells me, we need to hydrate. So if after 3 days, I might get worse sensations than just the thirst. And the same with, if I go for 2 weeks without drinking, I can die of it. So if people think the relation between pain and thirst doesn't match, to me, and it's the same with hypothermia. If I feel cold and if I don't put a layer on, after many days, I could lose a hand, I could lose a foot, and I could die of it. So this is the same thing. It's just a physiological signal, physical and logical, that I must try to learn to listen to and respond to.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's really, it's so basic, but it's so true. And we try to mask it, by taking a bunch of Advil or whatever. And it's really like putting a muzzle over the mouth of the communicator of our body. That's really, really great stuff.
I like to show that if you hold your arm like this, to the front of you, like in my book, I do the banana test, That's why people see a banana, an arm holding a banana on the cover of the book. So if you hold the banana like that for 10 minutes, it's going to hurt, It tells you, hey, bring the arm down. So if my shoulders could speak out words to me, that would be the message. And if I repeat that over and over, instead of a few minutes up and a minute down, a few minutes up, a minute down, I'm going to develop my own chronic pain pretty soon, in a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then I will wonder, what's going on.
That's great. And I've read some of your work. It's incredible. And the next topic I want to talk about, or have you talk about actually, is something I want to know, and I think every viewer wants to know, is how premature aging can be prevented.
I always go through basic stuff. It seems like my brain can take the complexity of things that that I think we always complexify all the time. So like aging, if I put my finger in a cast for 5 weeks just for the fun of it, to see how it's going to look like when I'm going to take the cast off the finger, I know it's going to look like stiff, unable to move, and loss of strength and everything. So loss of function. So what if I don't put it in a cast and I use it only 50, 60, 70% of its capacity of movement and strength? What's going to happen? I'm going to lose what I don't use. See? The question is, how many places like that in your body? And that, do you think it makes you feel younger or older to have lost all of those, parts of muscular tissues? It makes us shrink, and when we age, and it makes like us ache because someone gets to pay the price. Someone has to pay the price for that loss of length. Is it the joints, the ligaments, the tendons, some other muscles, doing the opposite movement of the muscles we've lost the length of? That's that simple. And then I use the fist test too. I see people, hey, come on, I say to people, close your fist like that in front of your face, and then open it up. You'll see it's going to be whitish inside. And then it's going to turn reddish. Why? Because when you do that, you squish, you crush the blood vessels. So you stop the natural recovery process and regeneration process of the body, which is blood flow. So, and all of that is biomechanics, If blood is flowing, is feeding each cell of your body all the time, over and over, and bring back the waste to the organs, to the heart and the lungs, then that's the capacity of regeneration, How many places like that are tight like that? Stiffness, tightness, tensions. We don't know how to take care of the muscular system. And that's what I mean by muscular hygiene. And, when I walk on the street, I see people, I don't know them, and I know exactly what they need from me, advice or treatment, because I see them limping, I see them hunching their back, I see them, moving, in awkward ways. And it would be so easy to say, hey, you need this, you need that, you need that. Stretch this, pressure point that, massage that, exercise to create more blood flow. And then stretch afterwards, because exercising alone, doing yoga alone, does not do muscular hygiene, because muscular hygiene means responding to the needs of your muscles, of your muscular system. And that muscular chart you see behind me, that's 40 to 50% of your body mass. We invented dental care 100 years ago. You think that changed the lives of people that use dental care? That's crazy how much changes it created in our lives. My parents had dentures when they were 30, 35, and they died at 78 and 77. That's young people no longer have dentures in mouth. So by doing muscular hygiene, we encourage blood flow, we encourage the recovery and regeneration processes, and that's it. That's how we can prevent 30 to 50, maybe to some people, 60% of aging. That is not the natural physiological aging process. It's just about, not knowing. It's ignorance, and it's not people's fault. We're not educated to do that. And the way I found out about these things is because I had all the types of pain you can imagine in the human body, and I fixed them all on my own. I didn't have the money to see the doctors and the therapists, all kinds, and I had to fix myself. And that's how I figured out all the things I write in my book about understanding that, that's why I call it the Human Body User Guide, my book, because that's the subtitle of my book, because that's something we should all be taught, from 7 to 17 years old. When we get out of high schools, we should be specialists of our own biomechanics.
Yeah, great stuff, man. I love it. It's simple and it's complex and easy to follow. Well, Jean-Pierre, there are millions and millions of business executives watching this show right now. They're stressed out by lackluster sales results, work from home employee challenges, meeting investor expectations, and trying to adapt to the ever-changing marketplace. What's the number one thing you want to leave with them?
See, that's a difficult question for a health guy to advise business executives. But I found some kind of answer, because when I don't get the answers, I got questions. So, and one of the good questions I've found very lately after communicating with you and knowing the questions you're going to ask me, then I was watching a show on Netflix, and I never do that. My son watched a certain show, and his mom too, but I don't do. But that night I was tired to work 10 hours a day. So I turned on the TV, and the first show that was presented to me was New Amsterdam. I don't know if you know about that show. It's about a hospital in public hospital in New York City, and the new director of the hospital is a doctor, and straight from the beginning he comes to in front of all the other doctors. They have a meeting to introduce himself, and first thing he says, "How can I help?" And to me, at the end of the show, my eyes were rolling in tears, because I was touched by the approach of that leader, of that, and that reminded me of when we try to lead people, because no leaders lead agendas or lead the next semester numbers and stuff like that. We lead people. The first resource of our business are people. These people live in human bodies, and they have human minds, and those are the two things we must target, each one of us, and as leaders to our employees, try to help them to get their mind at the right place. Have a good mindset and have good health. Each 1st of January, what do we wish to people around us? We wish good health. That's the most common thing, most common wish we do. But then it's like I'm telling the person around me, I hope you will get less ignorant and be able to take care of your health in the next year. But if we had the knowledge, the best thing we should tell them is say, hey, here's something that could help you to have a good health. And employees with good health, with good mindsets, is it mental health or physical health or both? Ideally, they perform better. They can come to work, or if they work from home, they have full of energy. They don't suffer in lack of concentration and focus. So I think that would be the thing to wish to someone. Say, hey, this year, you know what I found? I found something that could help you to have a better mental health or mindset and physical health. And I want to give that gift to you, that present to you. And that's something I try to do now, to try to contact with business executives and offer them that kind of help. Like you've heard the basic things I'm teaching, and all of that is biomechanics. In the last 20 years, doctors for cardiovascular issues, they no longer, the first thing they advise their patient to do is no longer eat better, change your nutrition. No, is exercise 4 or 5 times a week for 20 minutes. And that means, hey, we know now that biomechanics is the strongest and most powerful thing that you can do to change your health. And it's exactly the same thing with mental health nowadays. The first advice for mental health is, hey, get moving, exercise, make that blood flow, because that's where the secret is, creating blood flow. But then when your body cools down, you need to know what to do for those that muscular system, those muscles not to shrink around the bones and struggle the bone skeleton, because that's what's going on. When you hurt, when people feel pain and they can't concentrate at work, it's because their muscular system is strangling their skeleton. Is it more tight around the shoulder? Is it tighter around the lower back? Is it the legs that are stiff and have less flexibility? Whatever your pain is, there is a muscular issue around it. And that's what muscular hygiene try to target, to identify which muscles got too short, because there's nowhere in your body that your body will feed 36 inches of tissues, of muscular tissues, if you ask or if you use only 33. Sorry, I was talking about centimeters. If let's say from my head down to my buttock, if there's a meter or a yard of tissue, muscular tissue holding my back straight, if I use only 32 inch instead of 36, my body will only give me 32 inches. So that's what people, take care of people, being a leader and ask, how can I help? And when it comes time to their health and mindset, that's biomechanics. That should be the most powerful thing to assess and address and solve the problems. Of course, pills sometimes is okay, and other stuff, nutrition is good and stuff like that. Not saying the opposite, but we found out in the last 2 decades that biomechanics is the most powerful thing to do to better your health. But when we don't know how to, maybe that's something that leaders could be bringing up to their employees.
Good stuff. Great content. Well, Jean-Pierre, I want to thank you for being on the show today. Wow, that's fascinating. I hope your book sells out, because people need this message. So thanks again for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks to you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.